Yeah, what other people was good? It's Solar Baba in the building, the common sense president from Africa. Today I'll be talking about Trump's impeachment and what will be the consequences when Trump is impeached. Even though I don't see him being impeached in the nearest future or very soon, but eventually, if he's impeached, there are two things involved. Number one thing that is involved is that you Americans will be able to have the government that is socially correct, in that is being able to tell you what you want to hear, the sweet things that you want to hear. Just like the sweet person that Obama is. That's the kind of president you always want, right? But the second thing that is involved is that US will start decreasing. It will start depleting. United States of America will start depleting socially, will start depleting politically, will start depleting in its strength. Hmm? It started depleting already, though. Hmm? But Trump is trying to gain back the lost glory. But you guys have been hardwired to want to listen to, the things. You people don't want to listen to the truth anymore. You want to listen to. You want to listen to the president. You want to have the president that smiles all over, acts romantically with his own families, and you know, who tries to give you the emotional sweetness that you want, but had no value to your lives. The point I'm trying to make is this: when Obama came into power, he took all the strength that America has got and he transferred the power to Russia and China. He literally sold USA away, whether people like it or not. He literally sold USA to Russia and China. USA lost all its glories. Trump is trying to gain back all these things. Donald Trump is trying to regain back all these lost glories, all the technologies, all the innovations, all the all the good things that has been moved to China. Everything now comes from China worldwide now. Worldwide now, all the money in the world goes to China. Hmm? Instead of the United States that has been in control ever since. Even though the leaders and presidents of the United States as well, they made a lot of bad decisions. But if you look at the way Trump has been handling things, you know, he's making big decisions, making big impacts with less war, with less bloodshed. Number one, let's look at 2011. In 2011, when Obama came, Obama made sure that he wiped out all the African leaders who were not in support of him. Some of them are killed, some of them are sent into exile, were sent into exile. Some of them were not just only sent into exile, like, well, some of them were not even sent into exile. They were defeated in elections, and I'm talking of the African leaders who were actually dictators, right? And even some people who were not dictators as well. They looked for a way to boot them out of government, um, either through due process or by force process. So that was how Obama actually sold Africa, where we think is his origin, and USA to Russia and China. You see, I might be digressing here and there, but the point I'm trying to make here is that, firstly, if you look at things, the power of USA and the influence of USA in the United Nations and in making the world in the decisions that affect the whole world has greatly reduced. Most decisions are now made by China. African leaders listen to the Chinese government more than the United States government and even the British government. Hmm? You people are losing your gloves. Even though I don't pray that you regain that control back, I don't pray for that. I don't pray for that. Yes, because you people made a lot of bad decisions about other less privileged countries as well, while you have the power, right? But China also is not really making, Obama and China and Russia as well, they were not really making great impact, and uh, they were not doing great things with the power in their hand as well. I don't want them to have the power as well. I want each country to be making their own decisions without the influence of a foreign body. But our leaders in Africa here, we are too, you know, we they are too corrupt, that they can't manage the resources of the country. So they ended up looting up the sort of resources of the country and start running the country with the aids and financial help that they get from their oppressors. So they become puppets to USA, China, Russia, Germany, and all this, and France as well, and all these countries in the world who are richer, who have more power. That's the people who they bow to. That's number one. And secondly, I want to let you know that the black people, the Africans, particularly Africans living in Africa, we are more experienced than you when it comes to government. Forget about whatever you people about the fact that we are colonized by UK or anything. Forget about it. We have experienced good governments, and we booted out the good government, right? A lot of foreign, all these China and Russia, they influence the people to vote against, and not sometimes not only vote against, to rebel against the government that is doing good for them. And they plant this democracy, and they plant this democracy idea in them. You know, you need democracy, you need this, you need that. But eventually, they were unable to give them the democracy. That's number one. They were unable to give them the peace that they need and they want as well. Let's look at Libya as an example. For the past 30, 40 years, Libya has been one of the best countries in Africa. Not one of the best. I can even categorically say it's the best. Why? Because the people are living comfortably. Even Nigerians and South Africans who think they have the money today, or they are one of the most developed countries, even Namibia, all of their citizens, almost all of their citizens who wants to go abroad and are not ready to go to European countries for whatever reason, they settle for Libya. They sell their skills. You see, every any skill applicable in Libya is a high income skill, just like Dan Locke used to say. It's a high income skill. Whether you're a welder, you do woodworking, most of their things, they patronize internally made things. They patronize their locally made things. Petrol is being sold at the cheapest price. Libya was once selling the cheapest price of petrol in Africa. From some source of information, said that Libya were refining their own petroleum by themselves, right? While the giant of Africa, which is Nigeria, where I'm from, is not even having just a room size of refinery where they can refine a gallon or a barrel of petroleum. And this is the Nigeria who has no major source of income or revenue other than crude oil. Libya engages in farming, but I don't. That's not the point. The point I'm trying to make is that if you people eventually impeached Trump successfully, if you impeach Trump successfully, you will really suffer a lot. You'll be controlled by China. You'll be controlled by Russia. That's number one. And secondly, you will lose democracy. You will lose the freedom, the home of the free, the land of the brave, the yang 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 yang. You will lose it. You people will be ruled by dictators. China will bring someone, it might be among you, it might be among the whites as well. It might be a black man, it might be a white man, it might be whomever that will be loyal to them as the Chinese government. That person will be your president and will be your president for as long as he remains loyal to the Chinese government. That is what is happening in Africa right now. Mugabe has been the president of Zimbabwe for more than 21 years before the Chinese government actually supported and funded his vice presidents to go against him and rebel against him. That was the only time they were able to conquer him. The same thing applied to Libya. That was the first thing that Obama did when he assumed power in 2011. So, you see, the point I'm trying to make here is this. You white people, you have to be realistic with yourself. You have to wake up from the dream of looking for a socially correct president. Look for someone who add value to your society. Look for someone who add value to your country, and realize and wake up from the dream that America is still the greatest, still the nonsense. You are no more. China is the greatest right now. Hmm? Wake up from that dream and fight your fight. You have a lot of fights to fight. Join hands with Trump, even though Trump might not be 100% perfect as well. But the point is, even if you are going to impeach Trump or you are going to get rid of Trump, don't buy anything, any shiny thing, or any shiny object, or any elusive or decisive thing that's been sold to you by the Democrats. They are controlled by the Chinese government. I'm telling you, whether you like it or not. That's what I've got to say. Even though I might have digressed a lot in this video, but I just hope you people are able to get the point I'm trying to pass across. So that's it.